have all of my materials here for the crochet heart pillow. I'm going to be using 3 different colors of yarn. They're all the same thickness. Just make sure, like, it doesn't matter the brand that you buy, just make sure when you read the label it says super bulky number 6. So I have this cream color, a red, and a pink. You can use whatever colors you want. I have a pair of scissors, my 5mm crochet hook, a tapestry needle for the end, we're going to sew it together, and then I have a couple stitch markers. If you don't have a stitch marker, you can use like a bobby pin or something. It's also not like super important if you have them, it helps see the stitches a little bit better, because with this bulky yarn, the stitches can kind of get a little bit crowded and it can be tough to see. So I'm going to start with my pink. I'm going to make a slip knot here and chain 22. Now I'm just going to take a couple stitch markers and mark some important spots along this chain. The very first chain here, I'm going to place a stitch marker in the top loop. For this pattern, we're going to be working in on this foundation chain the top loops, and then as we go around this side, the bottom loops. I'm going to place another stitch marker in the bottom loop of this first chain. And then I'm going to place one in the bottom loop of this chain here, the one that's closest to our hook. And then just to show everybody, I'm just going to put one into this top loop as well. Okay, I'm going to chain 2, and we're going to be doing half double crochets and single crochets and slip stitches along this row. Just going into the very first chain loop, the top loop here where the orange stitch marker is we're going to start our half double crochets. So to do a half double crochet, you yarn over on your hook, insert it into the loop, yarn over and pull up a loop. So now we have 3 loops on the hook, and yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So that's 1 half double crochet. I'm going to now take out this stitch marker and into the next stitch, which is the top loop, I'm going to do another one. So yarn over, insert into that top loop, pull up a stitch or a hoop, and yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So I've now done 2 half double crochets. I'm going to keep going and do 6 more half double crochets, which is 8 in total. Okay, that's my 8th half double crochet. I'm gonna now do a single crochet into this next stitch. So for this, insert your hook, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through these 2 loops. In the next one, I'm gonna be doing a slip stitch. So insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, and then just pull through right away again. This next stitch here, we're going to skip and we're going to slip stitch into this stitch after that. So going into that stitch, yarn over, pull through, and pull through again. And then another single crochet into the one after that. So go into the stitch, yarn over, pull through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through those 2. And then another 8 half double crochets. Okay, so now into this stitch, the top loop where I have my purple stitch marker, I'm going to just take that out and do 3 half double crochets into that space. Okay, now we're going to start along the back side, so going into the back loops here. Just to make it a little bit easier, I'm just going to place another stitch marker in the loop directly beside this green one. gonna take out this one and do 3 half double crochets in that space. Okay, and now going into the back loops of this chain, we're gonna do 10 half double crochets along. I finished my 10 half double crochets. I'm going to now do 5 half double crochets into this next stitch here. 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then another 10 half double crochets along the rest of the row. Okay, this is our last stitch, so I'm taking out that to put my 10th half double crochet. Alright, and then just in the chain 2 space from the very beginning of the row, we're going to do 5 half double crochets into that space there. And then slip stitch into the top of the first half double crochet. So this here is the end of our first row. For this pattern, I'm doing 2 rows of each color. So we did 1 row of pink. I'm going to do another row of pink before I switch to my next color. So for row 2, I'm going to start by chaining 2. And then going into this first spot right by this chain, I'm going to place a half double crochet, and then I'm going to do 6 more, so that's 7 in total. Just to make it easier, I'm going to place a stitch marker into the very first space from the row. Now we're going to single crochet into the next stitch, then slip stitch into the next stitch, and skipping again this stitch here in the middle and going into the one after that, I'm going to do a slip stitch into the one after that one. Okay, and then single crochet into the next stitch, and then another 7 half double crochets. So now to round out this corner here, we're going to do 2 half double crochets in each of the next 6 stitches. So in this first stitch here, we're going to do 2 half double crochets, and then 2 half double crochets into this next one, 2, and then do that 4 more times. Now 12 half double crochets along this side. Into this next stitch, we're going to do 3 half double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and then continue along with 12 half double crochets. Okay, we should have 5 stitches left. In each of these 5 stitches, we're going to do 2 half double crochets each. And then to end off the row, slip stitch into this space we had the stitch marker. We've now finished 2 rows with the pink, so I'm going to change colors to my next color, which will be red. To change colors, I'm just going to pull through this red color with my hook. Pull down, first we'll cut it, and then pull down on the pink and take the 2 ends and just tie a knot together. Okay. There's no need to weave in any of the ends just because we're gonna make 2 sides of a pillow and then sew it together, so all of these ends will be in the middle of it anyways. so it doesn't matter to weave them in. I just like to tie them to secure them, and then you're all good. So for row 3, I'm going to start by chaining 2 again. Going into this first stitch here, again it's the stitch closest to the chain that we just did. I'm going to put 2 half double crochets into that stitch. And then we're going to do 6 half double crochets along. Again, we can just put a stitch marker into the very top of that first stitch. Okay, now we're going to single crochet into the next stitch. And then for this part, we're going to single crochet 3 stitches together. So going into the first stitch here, we're going to insert our hook, pull up a loop, go into the next stitch and pull up a loop, and then insert into the third stitch and pull up a loop. So now we have 4 loops on our hook. We're just going to yarn over and pull through these 4 loops. Into the next stitch, we're going to do a single crochet, and then continue with our half double crochets and half doubling 6 times. Okay, we've now made it to the rounded edge of this side. We're going to start by doing 2 half double crochets into the same stitch, and then 1 half double crochet into the next one. So that cluster is going to be used 6 times. So that was 1 cluster. We're going to do another 2 half double crochets into the same stitch, and then 1 half double crochet. And like I said, we're going to do that 6 times. Now we're going to do 13 half double crochets along this side. And then in the next stitch, 5 half double crochets. Okay, and then 13 half double crochets along the side. And then like what we did on this corner, we're going to do the same on this corner. It's going to be 2 half double crochets in the same stitch, followed by 1 half double crochet, and doing that 5 times. Okay, and after finishing that, it just takes us to the very end. We're just going to slip stitch into where we had the stitch marker. Okay, for row 4, this will be my last row, like talking as we go, and then for the other rows, I'm just gonna put like the written pattern and just kind of like show you but not talk you through it, just because this one is the last row where I show any like new techniques, so pretty much understood kind of most of the pattern from here, and then just as we go along the numbers increase for the rows and stuff like that. So for this row, we're going to continue with our red. I'm going to start by chaining 2. So again, starting in the very first stitch right there, we're going to half double crochet 2 into that stitch. I'm just going to place stitch marker right away this time. And then there's our second one. So there's our 2 half double crochets into that stitch. We're going to do 7 half double crochets along this side now. Okay, for the next 5 stitches, we're going to single crochet these 5 together. So like we did with the single crochet 3 together, we're just going to increase the number to 5. So going into the first stitch here, pulling up a loop, second stitch, pulling up a loop, third one, pulling up a loop, fourth one, pulling up a loop, and fifth one, pulling up a loop. So you should have 6 loops on your hook. Just yarn over and pull through these 6 loops. And then continuing along, we're gonna do 5 half double crochets, starting with the next stitch, which is really hard to tell for some reason, but it's right there. And then as we go along this corner again, we've increased the number of half double crochets that we do after the 2 half double crochets into the same stitch. So for this one, it is 2 half double crochets into the same stitch. So 1, 2, and then 2 half double crochets into the next 2 stitches. So 1 half double here, and then 1 half double into this one after that. So we're gonna do that pattern 6 times. I just did it here, so 5 more times. 2 half double crochets, 1 half double into the next one, 1 half double into the one after that. And that would count as one like section or cluster. Okay, after finishing off all of those, we're gonna do 15 half double crochets across this side. Okay, into the next one, 3 half double crochets. And 3. And then 15 half double crochets again. Along this side, the same as what we did over here, 2 half double crochets into the same stitch, 1 half double, and then 1 half double. And we're gonna do that 5 times. And it'll take us to the very end. After doing that, just slip stitch into this spot. All right. Now I'm just gonna change the color to white. I'll show you that one more time. So just cutting the previous color and then pulling through with your hook, pulling down on this old color and then tying the 2 ends together. Okay. Okay, I just finished the last round, just half double crocheting all the way across. Now we can cut the tail of our yarn. Just make sure you leave like a very long tail because we're gonna use it to sew all the way across. So just make sure it would be able to kind of fit all the way across, plus some extra. I'm just gonna do like that much. I'm not really sure exactly how long that is, but it's pretty long. I have my 2 panels here. I just made this one off camera, but they're identical, just following along the same pattern. Have them face like right sides out, so have the seams in the middle. Sorry, I forgot to tie this off. Just pull through this all the way and it'll tie a knot to secure this end. Okay. So it helps to line it up a little bit if you want to use stitch markers and just place a stitch marker kind of in the middle here where the heart goes down, and then maybe one at the bottom just in case anything is misaligned. Just helps to keep these points in the right section when we sew it. And maybe I'll do one on this edge here, just line it up nicely. It should have the same number of stitches, but you never know, sometimes we miscount or anything like that. And then just also make sure all of these ends are in here as well. Okay. So I'm just gonna thread my needle. And we're gonna sew it like with the yarn on this side, we're gonna go through the other side. So just line it up, it's this stitch here, and then go through it like that. And it'll create the stitching that goes kind of over top. So again, we're just gonna go through the other side and then come back through this side. Okay, and then just keep moving along as that, going like that. So into the next stitch and then into the next stitch on this side. Always start from this side going into this side. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep going along all the way across until I get to this stitch marker, because we'll need a little bit of space to stuff it with our stuffing. Okay, so I've stuffed it. I'm just going to continue sewing until I complete this little opening. Okay, last one, just right in there. Okay, I'm just going to tie it off now. So just insert your hook into any stitch and just pull through, leaving a little loop, and then put your hook through that and pull through all that. It'll leave a little knot. And then with this, we're just gonna insert our hook anywhere in there, and then pop it out through the side. Just pull through all the yarn there, and then just take scissors and just snip off this part. Just careful not to cut any of the yarn. And then there we have it. That's the finished product. This is the front, this is the back. It's nice and full. Thank you so much for watching.